It's been quite a while since we got a replay video hit the channel. I don't even remember what the last album I did a replay video for was. All I do know is Playboi Carti, Whole Lotta Red is probably one of the most polarizing releases I've been able to bear witness to. Probably the most polarizing release out of the new decade. And yeah, I just wanted to see what the reception to it has been over the past couple weeks. I've been able to allow some of the music that I already liked from the album to grow on me even more. And I gotta tell you, those good songs have become great songs now. Even the songs that I weren't as fond of, I kind of feel where they were trying to go, even if they didn't fully realize themselves. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a Carti stan or even a fan at this point, but I think he was working with something on Whole Lotta Red. I definitely think he was. And as you all know, the replay series is a series on the channel where we go back and we look at the reception that an album has received, whether it was a great album, a bad album, or whether it was as polarizing of a release as this one. I saw a bunch of niggas talking shit about this album, you know, men that have never painted anyone's walls before. So we definitely got to go in and see how they're living, what it is they do in their day-to-day, how hard they hate and how little money they must be receiving in their bank account to hate on something that could have been a potential masterpiece in the making. So we just got to go ahead and see what those haters are looking at right now. So let's just type in Playboi Carti, fuck niggas. Oh, I'm sorry. Whole Lotta Red album review, you know? The Night Crier. Hannah, this doesn't look good. I think she's white. We've all heard of him, the famous 24-year-old American rapper Playboi Carti, with albums like Dyin and Abundance, and recently Whole Lotta Red, which was released on December 25th, 2020. I gotta tell you, you got your facts straight. I'm already impressed with the review. Most people have listened to Playboi Carti at some point in their life. That's a bold assumption. The last time he dropped was in 2018, causing a spur of excitement. Yeah, Dyin, yeah, fucking beats, yeah, this. I would say after 2 years of waiting, we should have gotten more from Playboi Carti. Album is good, but nothing special. See, I think Whole Lotta Red is special in that it could have been something so much greater. And I think what it'll ultimately end up inspiring is something that we're gonna look back on and appreciate Whole Lotta Red for. I can definitely see that in the making. What is this review supposed to say? Like, I'm really confused at what it means. Like, are you just fact checking shit, or are you like giving your own opinion here? No offense to Hannah, I don't know where she stands when I read this. Playboi Carti creates a whole lot of music on who is writing these titles? I don't like. It's 24 fucking tracks, obviously. Is this supposed to be a joke? Playboi Carti has run quite a fascinating trajectory. He rose to prominence as the beloved young upstart with the most dynamic and memorable rap collectives. Yeah, ASAP Mob, blah, blah, blah. He cultivated a fan base. Yeah, cool. The anticipation built for Whole Lotta Red was monstrous. Yeah, rivaling Lil Wayne's The Carter 3. See, I want to give Carti his props, but then sometimes you niggas be going too far. Listeners should not be tired after listening to an album. I'm not talking about the cathartic exhaustion that comes from an intense but satisfying listening experience. You typed that like it was an orgasm, but I like the way you wrote that. A Whole Lotta Red is difficult to sit through because of the various tone changes, the presence of mediocre to throwaway tracks, and scant attention paid to song transitions. See, the thing about Whole Lotta Red to me is the first half for me, I think I enjoyed the most, or was most open to, because it took the most risks. And I guess when it came to the sound, it was the most consistent. After a certain point, it seemed that Carti just seemed to either lose interest or start going into different directions or peering back into what he had already displayed in the past. And y'all already know how I felt about Dyin, so you should have known that I probably wasn't going to be a big fan of that on this new record. Carti kind of piggybacking off of his old work. Okay, let's go here. This is like a cesspool of horrible reviews usually, so I come here just to laugh, but yeah, let's go. Trap, more like crap. Ha! You got him. Oh my god, bro. Motherfucking comedian. Music was okay. What the fuck is this? Playboi Carti is a name I've been mixed on. I went to hate. Why is my arm like that? Playboi Carti is a name that I've been mixed on. I went to hating his music with my guts, but I think Dyin is a spectacular album. That's the problem, man. I feel like so many of y'all overhyped Dyin, and then like expected that airiness and that same atmosphere on Whole Lotta Red to a degree. I'm not saying that everyone who didn't like Whole Lotta Red was expecting a Die Lit 2, but I do think the overhyping of Die Lit made people a little bit more disappointed in Whole Lotta Red by comparison. I feel like more people who thought that Die Lit wasn't as good probably looked at Whole Lotta Red and saw more of what Carti had to offer, because to me, Whole Lotta Red definitely featured Carti giving way more effort and way more attention, at least to the first portion of Whole Lotta Red. Can't really speak to the second half of it as much because it does piggyback off of Carti's old sound a little bit. And there are moments where Carti does shine on tracks like that, but those are moments where I also think the production has a key part in it. But the first half, like track 1 to 10, maybe 11, I think Carti is really putting forth a lot of effort, whether it be vocally, the way he's rapping, how clear his voice is, how clear his words are, how he's enunciating. I think he's putting forth a lot of conscious effort on those first 10 tracks. My top 10 rap albums of the year. Okay, well, I mean, you're clearly white, and that's okay. Never met a black Tom in my life, so this lets me know exactly all I need to know. I don't know, my mental illness has crippled my ability to criticize a body of work. Okay. Whole Lotta Red isn't the type of thing I'm going to listen to on a daily basis. It's redundant and doesn't feel as well mixed or put together as his old work. Bro, you gave it a 90. What do you mean? And yet this album manages to disappoint me after a long wait. But shit, can people not take... What are you talking about? The act of being overrated is that person or thing is considered to be better or more important than they really are. Example, Playboi Carti is an overrated artist. He sucks. Are y'all kidding me? Is this what y'all call good music? First of all, I'm not a huge fan of being the guy with unpopular opinions, but this is one of the ones I've never really understood. I don't believe Carti is a good artist. There are a lot of factors to this argument. First of all, I don't think that believing Carti isn't talented or that Whole Lotta Red was a bad album. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think that was the majority opinion when this album dropped. Before any of you call me wrong, the performances, they're bad. His vocal performances are honestly either half-assed or just sound terrible. All right, bro, I mean, you just let me know you get zero pussy in life. The only redeeming factor of Carti is his production. I cannot say that on this album. You know, I felt that way about Die Lit. I don't feel that way about this, all right? The minimalism in Die Lit, I get why a lot of people like it, but it just shows so low effort, in my opinion, that it could be replicated by a myriad of different artists. Not saying that it would sound exactly the same, but it would still be entertaining to some degree, in my opinion. When it comes to this, it's just such raw vocal energy that I cannot pass it up. It completely captures a lot of that rawness, that rigidness, that rough draft aesthetic, and I love that it also manages to push in that punk flair. It's a lot more tart than the sweetness that I think people were used to from Die Lit, but I gotta say, I liked where he was going. I liked the approach. Playboi Carti pulls an entire 180 from his debut album, Die Lit, to create one of the best troll albums of all time with his highly anticipated Whole Lotta Red. Bro, come on now. I'm gonna need you to take a Snickers bar, right? You can talk to any rap fan and they say Whole Lotta Red coming. Well, it's here now, and all I can say is thank you, Mario Judah. You know what, real quick, let me just say this. Mario Judah was never funny. He never had a good song. Anyone that was hyping Mario Judah up, shame on you. Seriously, shame on you. Not only because he was literally dry jacking with no lube, no lubrication, no condom, no nothing. This dude was just dry jerking Carti style from front to back to kind of market and run his own, I don't know, music thing or whatever he was trying to do. Now that bitch gone dead silent. We ain't had a word or a peep out of him. Man, this was a meme trending on Twitter, doing live interviews and shit. Like anyone, all y'all who contributed to this man's hype, for what? What was the reason? You like hearing imitation Carti or something like that? Like, I don't understand why people took to Mario Judah. Was it ever funny? I don't understand. I seriously, I'm seriously at a loss for words that people would promote a carbon copy of Playboi Carti, and then one of Mario Judah's quote-unquote selling points was that he would leak Playboi Carti's music, which had literally fucking happened already. Like, you know how infuriating that would be to me as an artist for some little dickhead to be joking about my album leaking when that is literally what's been happening and causing me to have to remake it, and people getting this dude trending because of that? Whole Lotta Red has everything to sound like a potential significant act that could turn hip-hop upside down, maybe even more than Playboi Carti has achieved so far, and I agree with this. This is 100% facts. Some of my favorite mixtapes all times have been mixtapes that have horrible sound mixing to them, that have horrible quality to them, you know, mixtapes like Bang 2 from Chief Keef, a lot of Future's early work, a lot of I was a huge Soulja Boy fan. You realize how horribly Soulja Boy was mixed early on. Gucci was rapping on basement beats when I first heard him. I'm not saying Carti was making music as entertaining as that on this record for the entire duration, but I am saying if I was that anal about the sound quality and the mixing on this album, half of the albums that I consider some of my favorites all time, I would have completely stopped listening to. And that doesn't just go for like the early 2010s or the late 2000s. That goes for hip hop in general. There are a lot of great albums out there with some barely passable mixing. Come the fuck on! This dude sounds pissed. What the fuck is this? Genuinely, what the fuck is this? Whenever I listen to hip hop, that's gotta be racist. I'm sorry. I don't always want to listen to Billy Woods or Killer Priest. Okay, I get you. I feel you. Sometimes I just want to vibe. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Die Lit was that album for me and still is. Y'all need to fucking get off of Die Lit's nuts. There were other records out there to vibe to. Y'all acting like this was the only record to do some shit like that. Well, maybe it was, but the only one to have beats like that. I'll give you that. But there are other records as good as y'all claim Die Lit is. Okay, all right. Was very upset. I don't know if he's gonna be coming back when Carti releases the deluxe. This is a review from Medium, written by Ryan O'Connor. While Carti really tries to establish his own lyrical skill on this album, it does kind of come up short, as overall I'm not hearing much improvement from Die Lit. You know, I didn't really expect much improvement from Die Lit when I was listening to Whole Lotta Red. I really was trying to look for, you know, a vibe that could be comparable when it comes to the beat selection, and maybe Carti putting forth more effort to possibly create that punk aesthetic a little bit more. But seeing as the beats here were a lot more jagged, a lot more rigid, and a lot rougher, I think he tried to rap a little bit more because the beats were less melodic. There was less appeal to these beats. They were a lot more tart. They were a lot more abrasive. I really don't think he had a choice but to rap more. He's trying to establish this rock star title for himself, and it feels somewhat genuine as it's something carried over from Yo, can y'all get off Die Lit's nuts, please? Playboy's lack of substantial features to me shows the rapper is making attempts to set himself as the main focus on the project and play to his strengths. Yeah, that might not have been the best idea. Carti doesn't present himself as a layered individual or a layered rapper, so focusing on himself was probably the worst thing that he could have done, because I literally look at him like a silhouette, a guy who's hard to distinguish in the dark. And when I say in the dark, I mean the beats. The beats completely shroud Carti in kind of like this cesspool or this world of ambiguity. So sometimes people will mistake liking Carti when really they like the beat. I did hear Pitchfork rated this really highly. I'm really wow. I don't see that. I don't see that. The Atlanta rapper's third record is both wildly innovative and strikingly consistent. That's not true. It's hard, melodic, experiment. Where's the melody? Like, there's some melody near the ending portion. You're saying these things as if they seem like blatant attempts, and really I don't think they were blatant attempts. I think they were just like, oh, I've run out of energy, I ran out of steam with this idea, so let me go over to this side, let me go over to this side. It doesn't really appear varied as much as it appears scattered. Those beats are then populated by the 24-year-old's most outer expressive vocals yet. A string of barks, ad-libbed shards, and crooned melodies that compound the mania. The effect is to make Whole Lotta Red's predecessor, 2018's already intense Die Lit, sound nearly staid by comparison, and Carti's slightly cloudy self-titled debut from 2017 seemed positively tranquilized. Now that I agree with, because that album compared to Die Lit and compared to Whole Lotta Red, I mean, looking at both of those, or looking at all those albums, he seems like a totally different artist every time. Whole Lotta Red transposes that thrill of hearing an inspired work in progress and builds it out into a fully realized style. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? That's not what happened. You wildin'. It takes an idea, but it doesn't really build it. It takes it the same way a mother bird would take their baby and throw it out of the nest, hoping that it learns to fly by the time it lands. But I feel like on this, Carti just kind of threw it out, and it hit a lot of rocks on the way down before it eventually kind of learned to levitate. But did it fully realize itself? Did it learn to do what it was intended to do? I don't think it did. There is no imposed formality of structure or delivery that could stifle Carti or bleed the life out of the demos. Instead, there is New Tank, which seems to have a half dozen chorus ideas that are dispensed into a single long take.
They thought I was gay.
That's the best line on this album. New Tank is a lot better than I remember it being the first time I listened to it. I definitely liked it on first listen, but like hearing it again, this much later, it definitely, you know, I definitely see the appeal of a song like that. Verses disintegrate into chants. Ooh, I like the way that was worded. I take my shirt off and all the holes stop breathing, breathing, breathing. That song got energy right there. That's energy right there. Energy.
Off and all the hoes stop breathing, 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 stop breathing.
You know, I'm willing to go from a 5 to a 6 on this album because I do like it more than I did when I first heard it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do. And the songs that I thought were good on first listen have become great. I do really enjoy the songs on this album that are great. I just wish we could have trimmed the fat, man. Oh my God, the potential this album had to be like one of my favorite albums of 2020. Oh my God, the potential. I saw where it was going, but it went left when it should have kept straight. It went left. This is right. Oh my God. Even when songs do conform to more traditional arrangements, they arrive at them in unexpected waves. Yeah, Beno, no, that wasn't it. One of the signature elements of Carti's style has been his so-called baby voice, a softer touch and a higher register. He has not completely excised it from the Whole Lotta Red album, but the album's most arresting moments come when Carti is rasping, evidently on the verge of losing his breath. I completely agree. As said in my initial thoughts video about this album, that was one of the things that really gave me a lot of eye-opening respect for Playboi Carti, because it felt like he was putting forth a lot of vocal energy and effort to this record because the beats weren't doing most of the work for him. Artistically speaking, he had to put forth a lot more effort because these instrumentals did way less of the legwork. Most impressive is the way Carti has merged his delivery with his pared down writing style. Like when he gets stuck on the line, "When I go to sleep, I dream about murder," delivered over and over in a threatening stage whisper. I do think a lot of the way Carti uses his voice is going to be underrated by people who think this album is just going too far in the wrong direction. Like I like, again, that is probably one of my favorite parts of this album, is Carti trying something different with his voice. Now, even I said in the beginning, had this been a little bit more refined or a little bit more intentional, or seemed a little bit more intentional, I probably would have taken to it a little bit more. But listening to it 3, 4, 5 more times, like, it just seems a lot more primal than people gave his voice credit for on Die Lit. Here it sounds way more just like outbursts, like screams, and sometimes it seems intentional, other times it seems uncontrollable. But I'd be lying to you if I said it was never interesting. And why are none of these people talking about Teen X? What the fuck is wrong with every single one of you bastards? Every single one of you fatherless swine out there that has something to say about Teen X. What is wrong with you? I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you think. Teen X is one of the best songs on Whole Lotta Red. All right, I took the bullshit detectors off just to tell you that.
I'm on the X, I'm on the codeine. I'm on the X, I'm on the codeine.
That track is so sugary. It's so happy to be high. It's so excited. If that's the track that we have closest to Carti's baby voice, I feel like that baby is bright-eyed and super enthusiastic about the thought of receiving narcotics. This baby is so interested and so infatuated with being on a substance that a wonderland of curiosity is immediately created. It literally sounds like an ice cream truck song. It literally sounds like you're being rolled up on by an ice cream truck that only delivers drugs. It is deceptively happy while still maintaining a dark aesthetic.
Seen that beach at the airport. I smoked that.
I don't care what you say. I don't care if you think that track is bad. You whack. You have no friends. You get no pussy. There's nothing you can say to me. Your boss texts you telling you to come in on your day off. You say sorry.
We'll X, we'll come.
Your professor's telling you to hand in an assignment that's overdue. Sorry. Your mother tells you to go to your grandmother's funeral. Sorry. Oh my god, I love this song. I love the vibe it creates. I love that it keeps that energy the entirety of the song. You know, one track that that easily became one of my faves though was Meh. Like, At Me was trash, but Meh? I swear when it started, it reminded me of Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E immediately, because it felt like such a mischievous song. A track where you could see trouble coming from a mile away. That's what it gave me. That's the energy it gave to me. And I'm not saying that the song is as good as Boys in the Hood. I'm just saying that the song, to me, it gave me that energy of, I see trouble. Like, it is a bright summer day. It's hot as fuck outside. And you see trouble literally coming your way. That's why I said initially this track was, you know, a song that niggas who steals kids' bikes would be riding to. Fuck her up. Bro, just take off on that time. No sleep. Beno, take off not playing. And yeah, we looking at a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. If you just take off like five tracks. I think if you fix the mix on Rockstar Made, it would make it a far more intoxicating listen. Just like a couple more of these tracks would be far more intoxicating listens if they were mixed better, because I don't really think having bad or poor mixing on this album makes it or really like adds to the overall listening experience. I think that the beats would still be just as harsh and still be just as abrasive, but it would just be a smoother listen. You could still have those really wonky vocal inflections, that really make it seem like you're straining your voice. Such a strange phenomenon this album is to me, because I haven't found myself so indifferent to something but still coming back to it so often.
Bad, yeah. Play with them racks, yeah. I stop playing, yeah. Heart attack, yeah. Clack this beach.
I have not much to say. I took this video very seriously. I need to stop the video here before I say something about this album I might regret. Y'all can let me know how Whole Lotta Red has or hasn't grown on you. I'll be here still listening. I might even feel different by the end of this year. You never know. Might have to put it on a list or something.